Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to our newly claimed territory in what was once the Dustwind Gypsies' land. In today's episode, we will be declaring war against a new faction, this time as voted by you. We are going to be going to war with the Steel Empire. Now, there is one problem with this, and that is quite simple. The Steel Empire are allied to the end with the Twin Guard, which I believe means if we go to war with the Steel Empire, we are also going to go to war with the Twin Guard. It's going to be a bit of insanity, and I am more than willing to allow this to happen. So what I'm going to do is declare war against the Steel Empire and make sure all of our forces are clumped together in 3 separate sections. Over here at our original resource zone, over here at our docks, which still needs a lot of work, and then over here at our land marauder. So, all of these are apparently blueprints. What is that over there? That is the Krull and our 2 laser weapons. We'll put those over there with the Cathalons, and over here we will start to make some new forces. So let's see then what happens. Hello there! Declare war. Oh, it doesn't seem like we have declared war with both of them. Okay, that is actually really good. So now we are at war with the Steel Empire. The Steel Empire can be found over here, up to the top section, and so we are going to send a bit of a scouting party against them. And to start off with, because I want to see something die, we are going to send our flyers, now with laser designators. Let's have a quick look-see what the enemy actually have in store for us. They have for us. Before I forget though, and I can't believe I almost forgot considering it was on the screen the entire time, here we are with a brand new tank, which is going to be replacing the Khan when it's eventually finished. This is the Angron, and it's a super heavy version of the Khan. It has a very similar structure, it has a very similar turret, it shoots very similar shells, except for it doesn't have the missiles, but instead it has a lot more engine power, so it's a lot quicker, and it has actual heavy armour on the inside, in addition to triple thick armour everywhere else. This is going to take an absolute beating, even in comparison to the Khan. However, one difference there is. Now, I say it shoots a similar shell. That is true in terms of the size of the shell. The shells are still 200mm. However, if I can get close enough to the gun to actually fire it through all this armour, there we are. This one fires explosive shells with a fuse. However, I will be messing around with this with different shell types to see if any of the other shells will do better. But the idea of this is to just crush a lot of armor in a single shot and do a lot of damage around the point of hitting. It also counters shields incredibly well, which is one of the things the Steel Empire will have. So hopefully, this tank will do exceedingly well. Well, here we go versus the first ever force of the Steel Empire, who are using the Orion, the Hexer, the Brush Cutter, and the Hexer yet again. And of course, we are simply sending in 4 of our very, very cheap, very, very expendable interceptors. Well, if nothing else, we can test out how our missiles do, and honestly, the biggest reason for this fight is to figure out what the enemy are actually using, so when we start creating heavier tanks, and of course the light tank, which I keep on promising, we will know what to counter of the enemy. I'm fairly certain they use shields, and now we're going to find out. Okay, let's pause time just for a second to have a quick look-see at them. So, this is the Hexer. It has an anti-aircraft weapon, so I'm already terrified of it. It has a railgun, which isn't on a turret at all, so can only fire forwards. And it has a couple of missiles, which look like fairly short-range, but fairly effective EMP missiles. The Orion has a big gun. It has a very big gun. That's a cram cannon though, so it might not be able to actually fight aircraft very effectively, although it does have some advanced cannons on the front, which I can only assume can only fire forwards. We then have this beauty. Wow, that looks fantastic. Very, very blue indeed. An advanced cannon in the middle, and then 2 side advanced cannons attached to the main turret. It has a lot of protection against certain types of explosive, and then it has 2 absolutely tiny cram cannons on the side. Okay, what a weird set of things for that. And then the other hexer. Am I correct? Yes, I am. Volume of 1,600, so this is actually a fair bit bigger than our Khan tanks, which are 1,300. Except for a lot flatter. Begin! Oh, wow. Okay. The middle one was really effective at shooting us, but wow, the missiles got underneath and detonated it! No, okay. Okay, well done, interceptors. Your missiles are clearly better than they used to be. We just killed one of their tanks with the interceptors. They cannot fire against us. The smaller ones, the hexers, although they are firing, it's really, really ineffective. They do not counter aircraft at all. That cram cannon shot is very unlikely to hit, but let's see if it will. Just skimming one of our interceptors. I can't believe that actually hit. That actually killed, rather. We've killed, but look how weak our missiles are. They are only single warhead missiles. It must have just hit such a perfect spot. They are fragment warheads, and they are in the sniper mode, so all of the fragments go to the same location, and it must have just detonated something so vulnerable inside that initial target. We may run out of fuel before this battle ends, and again, the second one is now AI dead. What is going on? Bombers, you are not a good craft. Why are you winning? I can't believe it. Okay, I'm a little bit happy here. I cannot believe we are winning this. They just can't fire at us. We are going to run out of fuel, though. We are. Oh, EMP hitting one of our craft. It's affected some of our ability to stabilize, but not much else. The Orion there taking a beating. Oh, EMP missiles from its friend hitting itself. Is that what's been going on? Have they been hitting each other as well? Because that missile just went straight into its ally. Oh, they are just so confused and worried. The Blood Ray interceptors winning. There it goes again. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the laughing. I really shouldn't as well. My throat's still killing me, so laughing really, really hurts. Missiles and aircraft. Also, I didn't see any shields on the enemy. Perhaps they were invisible, but I didn't see any. Oh, oh, no, yep, they're definitely shields. Maybe that's where all their cost is going, into those shields, because that requires a lot of engine power to run, and because we have missiles, they're just completely negating them. You're struggling to aim. Why are you struggling so much? Has your detection system been damaged? Seems like it. This one's been a little bit damaged. Such gorgeous tanks as well. I'm so sorry. Oh, there it goes into the air. Such beautiful tanks being killed by such ugly rush build interceptors. Their flak shells cannot hit us. It's a flaw on their side. There's the flak explosions. They're not timing correctly. Their detection systems are not working at all against our flyers. Saying that though, one of ours has finally been hit. It's just a matter. AI dead as well. Oh, wait, AI dead. Which one's falling? You. Okay, let's do this quickly. Jump out. Fall, 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 fall. Come on. No, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. And there it goes. I thought they were going to annihilate us. And it's repaired itself just about enough now as well to take off. That... I don't know what to say. There it is. I must have gone past this like 3 times. So, what I'm looking for, there it is the automatic detection accuracy. It's not being overridden at the moment, so it's still the default. Press default again. Yeah, I can't see why they're being so inaccurate. Just a build problem, I suppose. Oh, one of our flyers was hit, although it is still airborne. We're doing less damage to these ones. The last one's just crumpled. Their flares are completely useless against our missiles, of course, since they are laser designated, although they are using smoke, which is... I think it blocks the lasers, so it can't aim correctly. It's all a matter of if one of those missiles hits the correct part. If it doesn't really do all that much, but if it hits the correct section... Again, the shot's just missing! We need to make a battle blimp. We just obliterate them in moments, because the big problem right now is we have no firepower. Yeah, our aiming is really struggling because of all those smoke clouds. We are going to lose because we're going to run out of fuel. Not so much because of actually losing. I think we would eventually... Actually, no, I would say we would eventually win, but we're not exploding them this time. I feel like perhaps a bit of friendly fire was causing the initial explosions. Saying that, though, we once again just took off this guy's turret. The bear's definitely heavier armoured than the others. We keep on focusing on it. We could, of course, order ours to focus on one of the hexers, because we know we can destroy those.
Engaging now.
Echoey. Oh, fuel reserves at 72 out of 3,000. Oh yeah, by the looks of it, several of ours have just stalled. We are now out of fuel and we are being hit. Including the one I'm in. Insert Mayday noises here. It's also gone very, very dark because it's night time. Of course, I will have brightened this in the editing, so hopefully it'll be okay for you. Those shots are so slow. Oh... No fuel left. All of our lovely fellows are slowly going down. They're still struggling to hit us, though. Steel Empire. Against regular tanks, they must be so good, though, because of all their shields and such heavy weaponry. Against slower moving targets. A little bit off still. Slower moving targets with standard weaponry, they can deflect that weaponry and they can actually hit the target. But against fast moving, very just agile targets, they're not going to be able to do much damage, especially with weaponry that ignores shields. The Angron should actually do pretty well, because its weapons ignore shields because they explode if they deflect. I'm going to get out of this before it dies. I'm not going to capture because I feel like that's a bit unfair. The fact we've already cleared a tile and done damage to this tile, I think, is embarrassing enough for the enemies. Blood Rays. I clearly underestimated you. And friendly fire from the enemies. I feel like that may have just that may have been what happened. Just lots of friendly fire. And me dodging their attacks. I'm stumbling over my words to mock them further. Have we lost yet? Whoa, what happened there? Nice teleportation. Oh, that's a... Okay, that's using the graviton ram on its shell, and of course it's also a rail shell, so it sends us flying back, which is actually hindering them rather than helping them. Oh, it's over there now. That's good. Just kicking it around in almost pitch darkness. Yeah, their aiming is very poor, because those lasers should have no problem locking on right now, but look at them. I'm a little bit concerned about the Steel Empire. It seems like their builds are not broken, but balanced, if that makes sense. They're trying to make them a little bit easier on enemies, because my Blood Ray bombers are not something difficult to design. In fact, they're, I would say, the weakest part of my forces. Okay, so we're going to be sending in a couple of tanks for the very first test of the Angron, in addition to 2 of the Khan tanks, and we're going to see if the enemy's detection system is really that broke, or is it just heavily countered by fast-moving targets. My theory at the moment is that the detection system of the Steel Empire is set so it ignores a lot of very rapid movements, so that it's very accurate against slow-moving targets, but upon doing this, it also means that very fast-moving targets like our bombers or the flying squirrel, for example, which have very twitchy, very light movements, are going to be ignored, which means when they try to go for them, they're going to miss, and they're going to miss a lot, because this is an issue I had when I first stopped fighting the Onyx Watch, and I was doing some testing in the sandbox, so I don't really know if that's the case. I'm kind of hoping it is, because otherwise we could win very, very easily against what is meant to be one of the more difficult factions. Here we go, this time using the tanks. If we're lucky, the enemy will actually be able to fight back properly. I'm really hoping that we've just been incredibly lucky, and we've been against the enemies who cannot target fast-moving or flying targets. And against us, we have the Nebel, or Nebel, I don't know how to pronounce that. We have the Hexer, the Hadron, the Shadowcat, which is a very small-looking flyer, I believe, and we have the Kingfisher. Look at the cost of these vehicles. Our lovely Khan vehicles only cost around about 10,000. Even the Angron is only 20-30,000, so we're definitely outcosted here. So really, we should lose. I'm hoping right now we lose. That's the best case scenario. Make sure we're not using our turret. Pause for a second so we can see the enemies. We've just shot a single shell, and oh dear, this poor Khan tank is going to be dead straight away, being hit by a laser or by some form of armor penetration. Either way, this Khan tank looks like it's already dead. Oh, yep, thankfully very thick armor on the front, but even that cannot stand that much punishment. Our shells mostly doing a lot of damage to that Hexer, although the missiles did help to finish it off. There's an enemy flyer which we're not going to be able to counter at all in the Angron. What on earth just hit me? Can someone explain what just hit me then? I didn't see anything. Both the Khan tanks are still technically alive, but not really doing too well. Being deflected there by the enemy. We are helpfully attacking the flyer. And that Khan has just been... the AI is dead or something. Ooh, are you just missiles? Yes, you are. And something else very loud. Oh, particle cannon! That's what killed me! Okay, really nasty particle cannon is what finished me off. There it is shooting into the air. I think it's damaged. Well, that time round, we're the ones who got absolutely crushed. And that particle cannon is terrifying. Because the Angron is like full heavy armor, and it went straight through and just destroyed it. And the Khan goes down. Well done to the Steel Empire for this resounding victory. Although I think we killed one of theirs. And also, why are you offline?
Yes.
Why are you not healing? You should be healing. You definitely have repair bots. Oh, EMP. You got taken off by EMP. Excellent. Come on, turn on. I'm repairing you. What's been hit? Is it just the basic AI? The AI should be... yeah, it took out the actual AI block. AI, mainframe... back online. Right? Nope, too late. Too much damage. Goodbye, Khan. Yeah, look at that particle cannon. That is terrifying. It doesn't shoot very often, but when it shoots, it's just devastating. We did a fair bit of damage though. Like I say, we've killed one of them, who was a very expensive one of them, and we damaged their flyer and damaged the other two.
Yes.
But wow.
Yes?
Guys, go back.
On my way.
How do you defend against particle cannons? Is a very good question, because I haven't got a clue. This is going to be glorious. Missiles, missiles everywhere, and the one I was on just detonated. It's okay though, I can still see the combat. And look at that Reaper, wow! That's kind of terrifying. And the bikes are now reaching their targets, detonating all over them. Can they score at least one kill? Oh, the bikes really are not very good, are they? One large explosion. They've done something. They aren't firing as well, have you noticed? It's good. Oh, of course, they have all that explosion resistance on the back. Okay. Yes, friendly fire! Glorious friendly fire! That's what I wanted to see. No, don't fire at this little bike. It's under you. It's using you as a shield. This hero of a bike. Uh-oh. No! The bike! Don't die! Oh, if it just stayed underneath there a little bit longer. Well, the Steel Empire apparently is getting revenge. Now, sadly, the game minimised when this battle started, so I did miss like 3 or 4 seconds by the looks of things. Either way, that right there is our original base, and it turns out the enemy we were just fighting were heading towards it in order to destroy it. Now, I am not certain if this is that force, but either way, they must have came from the exact same direction, so it's either that force, or we missed them completely. So let's hope we can be victorious. Now that over there is our force of Khan tanks, which were on their way anyway in order to reinforce. If I was not that lucky, we would have already lost our original base. Go forth, traitor Shrikes, I believe in you. Now, one thought I have had is that our bombers use only light alloy, which is actually very good at being stealthy against detection systems. So there's a good chance that that's why we were completely oblivious, sorry, the enemy were completely oblivious against us during our battles. Oh, that Shrike is taking quite a few hits. And down goes the first... Oh, no, not quite down, but very much damaged the first tank. All of those missiles were from our Khan tanks, of course. The initial burst of missiles, they always fire. I think after this, I'm going to have a bit of flu medication. My throat's closing up a little bit right now. But that is no excuse to stop warfare. Come on, take down this tank. So far away, it's so difficult to actually hit the targets because they're so low to the ground. The Shrike's doing a great job. Just flyers in general seem to cause so many problems. Come on, mines, you can do it. Please. Come on. Enemy, turn around the other way. That would be fantastic. Seems like the enemy are just kind of ignoring us right now, as our Shrikes just circle above, and our shots mostly missed. Oh no, one of them must have hit, or the missiles. Either way, this enemy is now AI dead. Glorious. More resource for us. One last enemy. Now, the main problem with firing at this range is that the sand isn't actually as even as it looks, so to hit the enemy, they sometimes say, oh, we can fire through the sand to hit the enemy. Of course, that's the AI saying it, not me, and that's exactly what the AI would sound like, I'm certain of it. But either way, it means they have some really weird accuracy over very long ranges. And I don't even know what's going on with this tank. Can it not detect our tanks from so far away? Because it seems like it doesn't notice it's in combat. Not that I would blame it, because our shots are missing as well. Not the most spectacular of battles. Finally, the enemy tank realises it's in a battle and has started heading towards the Khan tanks, which are now hitting it quite effectively, and aiming at the back section there for some reason. Not quite sure why, I assume ammunition or something, but either way, with so many shields, as we can see, the Khan tanks now are pretty much redundant, and I definitely need to replace and upgrade them. The Angron's a good start, but I feel like even that needs to be a bit heavier if we're going to be fighting things like this. Well, the enemy was just defeated whilst I was looking at my tanks, so sadly I missed it, but apparently the Khans eventually hit the target. It took about another minute's time, and that has definitely highlighted the weakness of the Khans. Like I said at the very start of the season, they were only made to be a very cheap, very simple vehicle, which I made in the sandbox quickly in order to have some form of vehicle on the ground as soon as we started the season. But now they are just not good enough. They are not as accurate as I would hope, although I can't see what more I could do to make them more accurate. I just think it's something to do with the ground not quite being kind to the detection systems, and it just showcases the weakness of their weapon type against shields. All of those shells got deflected, it was almost completely worthless, but the missiles ended up doing their job. So, in the next episode, we will be upgrading the Angron to completely replace the Khan, and then we will hopefully be upgrading our flyers to be a little bit better, or perhaps be building a light vehicle to just do standard fighting, because apparently light alloy is a counter to the Steel Empire's detection systems. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. In the next episode, I promise we will have some proper battles, rather than the weird skirmishes and long-range slow fights we had in today's episode. Thank you again for watching, and goodbye.